Hi,
Hi.
Thomas. I'm very happy to have you tonight, today for you, because you're on LA time zone. Greetings from us here in Denmark. I'm Andrea from Rock Freaks, and I'm going to host this interview and basically our friendly chat. Like I said, I want to get to know you and I want to get to know the band through you and just get bring you closer to our audiences because it's such a great opportunity and also occasion every time we get a chance to talk with people from across the pond and also who make efforts to talk to us. It's a great way to bring you closer. So without further ado, I want you to say something about you and who you are and where you're coming from and what should we know about you.
I'm from France, and I moved to LA 6 years ago. And I guess I'm just gonna start. I guess I'm just gonna say that starting this band was more like was out of boredom. I think during the during the pandemic because I was stuck at home, and at the time I was doing this like synth punk thing that was like very much just me in my living room, right? Playing,
Mhm.
fucking around with drum machines and stuff and synth and all that. And then, but during the pandemic, when I was stuck at home, I remember like watching this um, house show on YouTube, like an old like video of the Oblivions, this band from Memphis,
Mhm.
playing a house show in the '90s, and how like raw and real it was. And I was like, oh, I need to be in a band like that again. No bullshit, in your face rock and roll band.
How come you came up with the name? Tell me more about that because that's super intriguing, actually.
Yeah, so the name of the band is Position Nuit, which is a French, it's French, but it's basically, if you really want to know what it actually means, it's like in your car, your rear view mirror. If you don't want to get blinded by, other cars' headlights, you put it in a night mode or night position. You
Okay.
basically, like in old cars, you lift the thing. You have a little thingy at the bottom of that rear view mirror. You lift it, and that sort of like changes the angle of the rear view mirror. We're getting technical here, but that's what it is. That's the night position, the night
Actually,
modes.
I feel like it really plays on I've listened to your material and I've also checked you
Yeah,
out in the sense of your general aesthetic and the vibe of the
right.
band. I think it really, really, now that you enlightened me on the darkness of it, it makes total
Yeah,
sense, right? So yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's
really cool.
also why I liked it. Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
And
appreciate
also
you.
the fact that you infuse your essentially your heritage in that, like where you come from, and you bring it such a nuance, I think it
Yeah,
actually adds more to the atmosphere because you have such an interesting influence as well. Like generally you position yourself as post-punk, rock and roll, straightforward, straight in your face.
yeah,
And you are very much influenced by the birthday party
yeah,
and suicide and oblivions and stuff like that. Like I've been
yeah.
listening to the genre as well, and essentially I could see where it's all coming from. And what we talked in
Right,
the beginning about how important it is nowadays in this very saturated scene to actually still live
yeah,
up to the specificity of your very niche genre. I think it's very
right.
refreshing. And you guys actually with the latest single, and it was your debut single, right, that you just released almost a month ago.
Yeah, yeah. That's the debut single. Yeah, that's the first one that we're putting out. We have a bunch of music that it's ready to go, but yeah, that's the first single that we
So
put out. Yeah,
exactly that when I heard the filthiest, I already kind of felt the vibes and generally this sexy, dark, the sensuality of your sound, right? And I
yeah,
can't wait actually to see how that transcribes into the stage, into your live act. Because I've seen like this build up, your image, and not only, but like your persona is very well,
yeah.
tightly knit. I can see from the band members as well and how you position yourself. Tell me more, actually. How has been the reception of your sound and of your latest single?
We had like pretty good feedbacks, and I
Mhm.
think what you said about just basically owning the influences and what we are, and not trying to fit in some like uh um popular, I don't know, like
Mhm.
genre at the time. Right now I'm like, yeah, I think that's what people, I think, kind of like about us. I don't know, I try not to think too much about that because then I get too much in my head, but
Mhm.
um I would say that that works in our favor, because there is something genuine about it. Like I really like that music. I really like, the blues explosion and birthday party,
Mm.
and I'm just fine putting everything, all of that in my band, and be like, oh, I guess, I don't know if there's a lot of people who listen to actually those bands, even anymore. Actually, I know there are, but it's not like the most popular thing right now. Maybe, I don't know. What do I know anyway?
Exactly.
But at least that's what I like, and for me, that's important, that for the band that I am in, and that I put together, that I like the music that I play,
Absolutely.
first and foremost, because I feel like, people can sense that, and then when you're not real with your music, and with your band, and how you present yourself, it shows.
I'm very happy to hear that because, the whole thing about building these conversations with unique artists like yourselves is because we need that type of break from the monotony and the saturation, I think. And your sound
I agree.
really kind of struck me, the filthiest. And also, did you release The Body as a side track, or is it also like part of your upcoming EP? What's kind of like the infrastructure of your songs?
Well, here with the two songs, it was more like, hey, there it is. This is like a sort of like double A side kind of thing. Like if it was like, if 45 an actual like physical release, that's what it would be. That would be like,
Yeah.
there's no like B side there. For me, that those are, you know, two of the, better songs that we have. So there you go. That's the band. And I think they sort of like encapsulates like, pretty much our sound. Yeah.
I particularly enjoy the raspy vocal progressions and those interludes with a sort of like this vampiric laugh. You have like
All
these
right.
like a very interesting composition right there. I mean, I always pay attention when I listen to songs, especially songs that are on the darker mellow side, just like the balance between the melodic side and also the lyricism. And the lyrics are, sexy, they're dark, like exactly the type of thing that you would expect from your type of vibe of band, right? So
Right.
yeah, I'm very happy to hear that and your plans as well to translate that into a bigger material moving forward. But tell me, like, talking about your persona and presence and plans moving forward, how do you see the band evolving in the digital spectrum as well, for example? Because right now a lot of movement happens in the online and a lot of cloud happens as well, a lot of, you know,
Right.
development. And since you guys are so niche and your sound is so actually
Yeah.
quite refreshing and refined, I might say, genre-wise, how do you guys see yourself being relevant on the scene right now in 2026 and beyond?
It's evolving like so rapidly, right? That environment, digital environment. So we're trying to do what we have to do. We have an Instagram. We have a presence online, and we're gonna put out those singles and digital, releases, and I think we're gonna work on a video soon, so that we exist. I don't want to be like, I don't want to miss that train. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell me, what's your next plans with lives? Where should we see you? What's the next step?
The next step is we're gonna play around California a little bit, trying to
Mm-hmm.
play some out of town shows in the summer, and
Mm-hmm.
then and I guess, yeah, our plan is to sort of like expand to the rest of the West Coast and then East Coast, maybe play some shows like in the Midwest, and then my plan would be to go to Europe actually, because that's what I used to, I play for that, for, people in Europe, because I was in Europe, 10 years ago, and in bands and stuff, and I was touring Europe, and they're great crowds.
Any
If you
particular locations or destinations as the first line?
in Europe, you mean?
Yeah, in Europe, yes.
Italy and Spain are, you know, two of the, yeah, best crowds. In Europe, but maybe Denmark. Like I never played Denmark, so
I
I would
wanted to
love to
say
come.
that we should totally see you here, man, because I feel like your genre actually would appeal quite well to the audiences
Yeah,
locally,
I
and
would
we
love to
have
go.
such a it's such an interesting scene here. The more I actually go and I shoot my concerts, the more I actually feel the vibe of the people and how they interact. And we Scandi people, like, I'm not Scandi, I'm Romanian actually, but the whole
Oh, right.
point is
Okay.
that, yeah, I'm a southerner who made her way north, and you're also like a European who made his way on the other side of the
Yeah.
but it's just like it shows how interconnected we are, thanks to the love of music. And what I was saying is that I'm rooting for you guys at the emergence of your journey to really come and really tour, man, like tour and get to know us here, like the crowd, and get to know more crowds, and actually translate your sound in ways that really rise the people, right? Because I
Yeah.
believe that with your power and the strength of your songs, which I invite also our audience to check out, you can really, really make a really positive, difference in how the scene is being consumed. And this is all that we are doing here, why we're here having this convo, and why we want to actually tell the story further. And
Yeah.
then not only for promotion, but generally for connection, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, with that in mind, I guess from me to you, Thomas, what would be your message to all of us here in Copenhagen and beyond?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, connection is really important, like you said. So go to a show, buy a ticket, and buy some records. Because at the end of the day, I don't, even that is not, you still have to pay, like, I don't know, like $10 a month to get access to Spotify. So if you compare that to like the $5 or $10 that you got to pay to go see a show and really live something, like, really like be part of something. I think that's key. Like, go to a show and enjoy yourself, and put that phone away, and then just like be in the moment.
Mm.
Because and that's something that we really try to do also, like on stage with the band, is like trying to sort of share something, a sort of like close connection with
Mhm.
the audience.
That's really cool to hear. I can't wait actually to hear it for myself, because I think that the moment that you truly understand it is when you're there in front of the stage and then you see yourself unfold, and that's exactly what's all about. So thank you. I appreciate this.
Yeah,
I guess this was really everything from me at this point. And like I said, a casual get to know each other and bring you closer to our audience and beyond. And essentially, to check you out and follow you along this journey as you
yeah,
ascend. You hopefully come to Denmark and beyond as well. And what can I say? Best of luck to you guys. I can't wait to hear you more and hear more releases. And generally, gonna check you out on the socials and keep posted on the latest releases. And
yeah.
whenever you're touring, hit us up here in Denmark. We want to see you on our stages for sure.
Totally. And yeah, please, stay tuned. We'll have more stuff, more fun stuff like coming out in the next, few months. And just, yeah, do your thing. Just go crazy.
Awesome. Thanks, Thomas. My best
Yeah.
to you and the boys at Position Nuit. And thank you so much for
And
your
the
time
girl.
tonight.